Greetings. Welcome to the Sunbeam stream. It is a lovely day out here today. 16 Celsius, if you can believe it, in March in Halifax. But yeah, I'm still in the code mines. I did get out for a walk, so lighting is a little crazy because of the sunbeams, but it's kind of spooky. I like it. Yeah, we're going to do some Sentinels workshop development today, including a long-awaited item, Nemesis icons and small card icons. All right, I just have a Slack message I want to attend to here. All right. Feel free to say hello in the chat and ask any questions. That's how we roll. Probably will get my Slack messages on the screen, which I'm just going to turn off because we may not want that to be the thing. Do not disturb. Hey, Jake. Yeah, we're starting a little late today. I had some things to do that were at the time of normal start. Yeah, Topher, you're not late. I'm late. Cool. So, yeah, I'll keep an eye on that Slack, but just lots of other things going on. Got some fresh air here today. Got the windows open. Got some sunbeams. Let's get down to it. So I did already do a couple things today that had been brought up recently, which was some unstable sorting on the new game screen, some formatting of activatable ability text is now going to work, and some foil art issues. Basically, mods don't have foil art, and so the buttons would do weird things. And yeah, let's get into these custom icons. Actually, I already started it, and so what it's doing basically is in the card view factory, there's this method for updating Nemesis icons because they can change during the game, and there's lots of logic around it. But basically, once we get to the point when we want to actually show the graphic, we can check to see, hey, is there a dot in that Nemesis identifier? If so, it's a mod, and we can find the namespace, load, and a sprite atlas. So it's actually trying to do that right now, so we just have to actually make one. Actually, you can see the little warning here. Mod manager cannot find texture file icon0.png. So we're going to try to make it. Yeah, that's this. And so it's trying to put the Nemesis icon on the card, but it can't find the sprite atlas. And how that is put in the deck list is basically just using Nemesis identifier like that. And you could even, it could be like cauldron.cricket or whatever, right? You could have cross mod Nemesis icons if that makes sense for what you're doing. I mean, it would make sense if you have like a promo of another mod character, right? Then you put in that Nemesis identifier. You don't have to provide the icon in your mod. It comes from the original mod, for instance. And Migrant Coder, I believe, also has that. Yeah, so what we need to do is make an atlas for that. And what I wanted to do is actually note down the sizes of these Nemesis icons. Small card icons are going to be under source images and card support files, Nemesis icons. Yeah, so there's small size and there's full size. I think what we'll basically just do is say provide the full size icon, and it will just scale down for the small card. Like, we optimize it for the included stuff, but that doesn't super matter. For mods, it's one atlas anyways. They're, 40 by 40 versus 128 by 128. So let's say, 128 by 128 is going to be sufficient. 128 by 128, and it's called namespace dot identifier icon dot, well, whatever, PNG, transparent. And small card icons, which we're going to get to as well. Yeah, it's a little windy out, but it's nice. It's going to clear out the air in here before it gets down to like -7 on Monday. Hopefully, hear some noises. See if things are not getting knocked over. Small card icons like these are 64 by 64. And yeah, they're also 64 by 64. And actually, the name of the icon doesn't need to be, they're called this. Sprite name is that, reference by namespace dot identifier, right? Sprite name equals whatever. Reference by namespace dot whatever. Okay. So the nemesis icons are bigger because they need to show up on the full card, which is larger. So let's make them. Just go to. I know I haven't pushed up like my weird sample stuff. The mod, not mod prototype, right? It's my mod. These like resources that I have because they're just weird and wrong. I'll need to clean it up before I push those up, basically. But this documentation will suffice hopefully for now. Yeah, so we need to make some files. I guess we can just like borrow some. Let's grab. Hey, there's a blank one. Look at that. We could even provide this, I'm sure, this blank. The new style doesn't have that shiny bit. So we don't actually use the shiny bit anymore, but it's more of a flat look, right? Like you can see the border is flat. These aren't, I don't think, maybe they're used in like an error situation, I guess. I'm gonna grab parses icon because it's easy to draw on. And we'll call this migrant coder icon .png, and we'll draw on it so we know it's ours. Is this? Yeah. Let's give a different color. How do we choose our color? Yeah. Yeah, we're purple. Okay. That's that, and we want, say, a small card icon as well, for example. And so let's just take one, whatever. Is there one that's good to copy off of this blank deal damage one? Sure. And let's just make it like, change the colors. Tinted green. And we would call this like whatever. Literally, whatever. All right, and let's run texture packer. Let's make sure everything's going okay on my OBS. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Okay, just seeing one thing over here. I'm going to. Okay, so free version. Okay, looks like that. The part is moving along that they were having an issue with. I'm going to add these sprites. Looks like an atlas. I think this all was like, I saved my default settings, right? Save project. We're going to call it icon 0. We're going to publish sprite sheet and call it icons 0. And there's our JSON. There's our thing. Cool. I thought it wasn't going to output the .png, but maybe it doesn't matter. I think it doesn't matter, right? So now if we go out to our mods folder and drop it in here, it will try to load it. And let's see if it works. It should load the migrant coder nemesis icon. Felt like another coffee today. Actually didn't have the greatest sleep last night, so hey, look at that. It's a nemesis icon. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. In full card, yep, nemesis icon. Look at that. That is great, and the villain has it too, because they are the nemesis. And then, of course, if they're not in the game, it won't show up. For example, cool. So let's go ahead and commit that right now. Load icon atlas from mod for nemesis icons. Okay, and that is that and that. Yeah, frenzies. It's nice when it actually works. Cool. All right, small card icons now should be pretty similar. So I don't know where those are set up, so let's look and see. Card icon area is what does it. Here it's updating the icons. Just looking for the spot where it like actually finds the sprites and sets them. So like right here. Okay. So, right. So, confusingly, the UI sprite is a like display of a sprite. Naming things is hard in game development. Starting your own game development. Yeah, I think like when I first did graphics programming in university, that was like almost like eye-opening that like how much more fulfilling it is to have a program make something appear like visually versus just like, you know, outputting a bunch of text or data or something like that, which was like most of the programming that I did in university would be like, you know, sort this list or, you know, whatever kind of algorithm-based programming. There really wasn't a lot of visual stuff to it. But when you like your program outputs like a rendered scene or a game that you can interact with and move around in or things, like it's just a whole different thing. I think that's just how our brains are wired, right? Like it's like tickling the neurons that we that we're more familiar with. So it's pretty rewarding. Okay. I should pull up my old graphics course. I think that graphics course, they're still online. The projects, whatever the course name was. maybe if I remember, I'll look up those for next week for a little Easter egg. Getting close to Easter, right? Okay, so what we did over here was basically if our nemesis icon contained dot, then we would look for a mod one. We'll do the same thing here with card icons. So yeah, so icon is the sprite name. So I guess first that sprite is that. And we'll just sort of do this. Yeah, so we'll call sprite name is icon, but this might, if it has a dot in it, we strip out the namespace by doing this. Wow, we're getting some breezy time. This doesn't super need another variable, but that's okay with me. Yeah, basically, it's the same code. We just change the atlas of the thing, and then we set it, and hopefully that's okay. All right, so let's. I guess what it calls clear card icons. Nothing. I guess this does. When do the icons actually... I guess if the card flips or something, or gets replaced. I kind of want to be able to, like, have it remember the original atlases. So, like, UI atlas... original atlases. So if this is null, we'll populate it the very first time when we call this, I guess. Maybe when we call clear, right? Remember the original atlas for when we refresh. Because I think that might be important when we update things. Topher, it's hard to see that. It's like blue on black. I think it's Topher asks, off topic, is there any discussion about whether custom in-text icons might be a possibility? That is definitely a lot harder because of the way fonts work. They're a bitmap. So like the font for card text is literally like a graphic already, right? So, and with the icons in like this, or small card body, I think is the full card body. Well, yeah, full card body. Small cards don't have body text. NGUI works by like having things preset. So one thing we might be able to do is make a way for you to provide your own font graphic instead, or font or graphic or resource or whatever, and load that so that your cards can have your own icons on them, if that makes sense. So that's probably the approach we go with that, because the system for the text does not support like arbitrary graphics that come outside of the atlas. They have to be within the atlas to begin with. And I guess we could, like, in theory, like, collect everyone's graphics and do something that way, but... And then there also needs to be a way to, like, for the game to know, like, when you put in your special character, or, like, because basically it's kind of a hack. I guess that NGUI has, like, an emoticon system. So we could use that. We don't actually use that. What we do is, like, we just assign these to like high ASCII or Unicode characters that aren't going to be used, and then access them that way. So I don't know if there's a way to see the characters. maybe not. Anyways, so yeah, that is it is on the list. Topher, I believe it is on this list. Custom font, sprites, icons like the naturalist. Yeah. So yeah, the tricky thing is like we license the font for digital, and I don't know if like, yeah, I don't know exactly how that licensing aspect would work. Or maybe it's something like we can make a new atlas at runtime or something, right? Like that's potentially possible, where we make a new atlas with all the sprites that come from mods, glom them all together somehow. But yeah, I think it's a bigger, trickier issue than just these sprites, which are just sprites and not have to do with text. So for now, just like, descriptively say what the thing is instead of having an icon. All right, so if this dot original atlas is actually, if it's private, I kind of like to use like just like an underscore for private variables like that. I don't know if it's not really a C# thing, but and actually there's only one original atlas. And this dot icon sprites. Original atlas. Then we just like make sure we go back to the original atlas in case like something changes somehow. I don't, because there's ways that icons can be updated in various ways. And so I want to make sure that doesn't cause problems. I don't think, Nemesis icons get updated too, so we could also do that. So we could go back and look at that for Nemesis icons too, but I guess cards can have different Nemesis icons in the front and back, can't they? And so that could be a thing. Okay. So that should, I think now, so if we have to add the icon into our mod. So migrant coder, his icon can also be workshopping whatever. Right, and actually that, I think hero cards are different from the front and back, but there are cards that have the same prefab from the front and back, and it just like updates the visuals. It doesn't actually like change out the object, and so that's why we need to reset that atlas, I think. I think I built that. We'll see if I did or not. Maybe I didn't. Just rebuild it to make sure we get our icon. We save this. And if that doesn't work, we'll see what's going on. Hey, look, our little green dot. That's our custom icon, sprite, whatever. Awesome. So, custom small card icons. Use them wisely. Okay, so I just want to go back to the Nemesis one and just make sure if we do have a thing that changes Nemesis icons, because like I don't think they change like multiple times in the game though, but maybe mods would do that. This actually doesn't always take a card view. That's interesting. What else calls this? Oh, because it can update them on the box, like on a full card view. I'm gonna not store that atlas, and if it becomes a problem, we'll look at that. So basically this, but also small card icons. All right, so that was actually easier than I thought it would be. So that's nice. So that's actually done. We should test it here with Greaser though. So Greaser and Challenge Bugbear. Greaser goes after the highest HP, and luckily Migrant Coder has 39 hit points. So Migrant Coder should probably be the highest HP. So let's check to make sure that works. And I think I need to copy the mod information over because the game view one is loading it is loading it from there, but nope, put it in here. I think I need to do that way. My mixed up Mother Goose dev environment. We'll see on the new game screen if it's got the right icons. So let's just hit random at first. We got Greaser. And we just need to make sure we have our hero, Migrant Coder. It's going to be at the end of the list because workshopping, I should have made it like workshopping. It sorts these now by namespace. So yeah, so we are seeing the Nemesis icon. So I'm gonna hit fight, and that should be 39 hit points. Should be the highest for sure. And Greaser should be the Nemesis. I think that doesn't happen until he plays his card. Licky asks, when will the Steam integration be worked on? Pretty soon. We're pretty close to being like to the point where I'm going to do that. Maybe you can start looking at it today. But just wrapping up sort of things that mods need, right? At this point. But we'll look at the list after this. I finish this because we might be able to get started on that today. All right, sorry, Migrant Coder. Okay, so yeah, look, Guys has got the awesome Nemesis icon I made. Not Guys, Greaser. So that's the important thing of like needing the namespace in there, because you can't just be like, oh, what's Greaser's, load Greaser's mod deck atlas. No, you need to like actually find the one that belongs to that mod and load it up. So yeah, cool. And that's going to work for Bugbear as well. So very cool. Okay, so let's, we already pushed it up. So that's done. And documenting that should go in probably a couple of places. Probably in like the sort of the resource documentation and the engine documentation. So I'm just going to make a note. Add custom icon documentation. And I'll link to this card that actually, so if you like are just looking at this card, you can figure out like what to do. So I'll just actually note here if an icon has a namespace, we will look in that mod for icons and use it. Maybe I'm going to take this documentation and put it on this card. Mod resources, atlas / icon 0. Sprite atlas. Reference in deck list with decals. Licky has lots of questions. Will the mod management be in-game or be on a separate launcher like Cityspire? Be in-game. Yeah. You'll be able to... I mean, you can always subscribe to mods like outside and then Steam downloads it and whatever, but for the mod screen, we're planning to add a way to like enable or disable mods that way. And the mods that we are at least have so far aren't like, you don't really have worries about like combining them in the same way as Slay the Spire. Like your game either has, you either use the hero or villain or environment or you don't. It's not like it might randomly show up or whatever. Okay. All right, so we'll get that documented. I'm going to just add a checklist to add info to resource documentation and add info to engine documentation, because the deck list will need to mention that, and the resource will need to like mention how do you set up your atlas. Cool. Okay. And probably some notes about like what do you need icons? Maybe you don't need icons. Maybe you should just use the ones that are there already and it'll be easier for your players. So in general, you should not need to make your own icons, but we do have the option there if it is necessary. Okay, so the workshop screen, there's a few more things we could do on there. Jennifer's been doing some mock-ups of some different looks for that. Nothing final yet, but some interesting ideas. We have some other ideas that we're cycling on, so that's still in progress. So I think, we can look at... we've got, why don't we triage some of these things? So this bug here, maybe we'll look at later on. Music documentation. There's not, that's kind of like to do numerals in the card keyword font. There's lots of stuff that's like, it would be nice to do it, but we don't need to do it like necessarily today. A couple of bugs. We could start looking at some Steam Workshop integration today, I think. I guess kind of the idea was that we would have like a version that we say this is like the finalized version for ad hoc, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Because it'll be a little while before the Steam Workshop thing is ready and we can do other things sort of in the meantime. One thing, I might push this one back about choosing which image and color in the placeholder artwork. I haven't heard a super amount of interest in that. There's a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be a huge deal right now. The keyword, the font thing is a thing. This is a bug. I don't know. Just thinking about what I want to do. Mostly this would be like me reading the documentation today. If you're interested in that. We didn't get it. Really, I haven't seen any interest in Oblivion editions. So we haven't been focusing on those. I think I actually moved that back to this. Yeah. Yeah, so we can look at Steam Workshop. Steam Workshop documentation. Let's go through it. I'm just going to look at my Slack here for a second. Okay, I will get back to that later. All right, so Steam Workshop, in brief, a place for your fans and community members to participate in the creation of content for your game. We need to create an upload path. Yes, we need a way for people to upload it from the game or with a separate tool, but probably in the game is what we're going to do. All right, so yeah, the workshop type we're going to use is the ready-to-use workshop, where anyone can upload content, players can download content without any curation. Origami Swami would like the ability to activate and deactivate mods from within the game. Yeah, that is on the list for the workshop screen right here. So that is something that we are going to be adding in for that. Right, so ready to use workshop, getting started. Blah, blah, blah. Basic modding is up and running. We need to integrate the API so your client can know what workshop files the user subscribe to and can download content as necessary. All right. So we need to load content. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We might need to load stuff from a different folder. For example, we do have a staging environment. The mods folder. So that's good. Loading content in a multiplayer game. Yeah, that's the the stuff we worked on with the multiplayer. There's that bit that's like, hey, we need to download these, and so that's going to be that part. Uploading entries from item authors. Can be formed in your game or a standalone app. Accept file formats. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blog. It's good docs here. Restrict and validate. Okay, and getting items to customers. They're automatically available to subscribe to and downloaded via the Steam client. Yeah. Cool, and we're not using curated workshop, so we don't need to worry about that. And how to announce it and have a beta and everything. Okay, so let's go to the implementation guide that it wants us to go to. Okay. We need to register to the item installed callback. Get installed info, read the data directly from the folder. Cool. Steam Workshop visibility. Right, we don't want it to be visible. So I'm just going to, in a different tab, different browser window, because I'm not going to show the back end of Steam to all of you because I don't think that's allowed. You'll just have to trust me on it that I'm doing secret things. So, Sentinels, Steamworks settings, workshop tab, general. Only developers it's set to right now, which is probably fine. We can also choose developers and testers and allow it to specific people, which would be like beta testers and mod developers originally. That's good. Yeah, we need to configure like a bunch of title and description and stuff. Enable iSteam UGC for file transfer. Okay. We have to use this API, so let's look at this API. I think like there's nothing like I need to change. I don't think. It seems to be made available for developers right now by default. So I should be able to access these APIs. Before workshop items can be uploaded, we have to enable Steam Cloud quotas. We already have Steam Cloud quotas turned on, I think. Yeah. That's fine. Oh, and we do need to, so there's that option. Enable iSteam UGC for file transfer. Then workshop content can be uploaded via the API. Okay, save and publish. Let's make sure there's not anything else changed. The workshop stuff. Oh yeah, there's a new depot. Okay. I see. All right, creating and uploading content flowchart. Love a good flowchart. We're starting with a new workshop item. We call create item. We get a result. Stuff is happening there. Okay, it can either be a community or... Right, okay, yeah, it's the first one. Okay. Call handler, yeah, we actually use a Steam-like library that will make a lot of this more straightforward, but the basic information is important here. Right, so we get a file ID back that we need to keep. For that, okay. And we might need to make them accept the workshop legal agreement. Okay. Once it's been created, we can then populate the content and upload it. Oh, I see. So this goes to there, but also we need to do the... Right, so this publish file ID is like the official ID of your mod. We can set the title, description, and all that stuff. Content, which is probably the files. Arbitrary metadata. Okay. That's good. Visibility. So yeah, we might not even need, like, the manifest might be just for when you go to upload your mod, like, to Steam, and then all the other, everything can be, like, in these metadata things. Cool. Key value tags. Arbitrary developer specified tags. Okay. Content and a preview image, and then submit item update uploads it, and we get a result, and we can track the progress. And right. Okay. It's a folder of files. Okay. If it has additional metadata, you can attach it using the set item metadata calls. Right. So that this is basically like, instead of having that, I mean, probably we'll need to have that JSON file for like creation and for project management or whatever, but I think it looks like we can actually keep all that stuff in the Steam metadata in general. And consuming content. Okay, so that's the upload part. Consuming content. Let me just check how my publish went. Your changes are now live. Excellent. Okay. So subscriptions will happen to the Steam Workshop portal. You can also programmatically, like, so we could have a like Workshop browser in the game, potentially. Or also, I think the main thing is like when you go to multiplayer and it's like, hey, you need to get this mod, you can just click subscribe and it will get it, and you could maybe unsubscribe from mods in the mod screen. And you can enumerate through them. Yeah, so we'll want to actually enumerate through them to show them in the mod list. I think. Instead of like going through the file like, and then we'll go load them up from disk. Remote error. Feel free to ask questions here. Yeah, while I'm streaming, that is the best time for right now. And if it's something that's really detailed, you can go into the Discord, or we can chat about it later there. But feel free to throw some questions. All right, so once subscription is known, consumption methods can be utilized. They provide information back to the game about the state of item download and installation. They happen automatically when you launch. Newly subscribed Workshop items are not downloadable and download and installed in the background. Okay. Right, so the game can be started and mods are like downloading while it's running. So we have to be aware of that happening. So we can show that like progress bar or something like that, or at least like information that, hey, Steam is downloading this. It's not ready yet. We get some callbacks. That's fine. We don't need to worry about legacy items. And make sure the app ID matches. Sure. Oh, interesting. It will be called for all item downloads regardless of the running application. Okay, well, that's good to know. Just get callbacks for like someone's Team Fortress mods. Great, thanks. Why Steam? And then we can get information about the local copy, which is going to be like where the files are. Cool. And querying kinds of content. Right, you can actually like, we could have like our own like search, like you could have a whole interface around like finding content and stuff, which we aren't going to need, at least initially, but we could add that stuff in later. But I mean, mainly you can just like go to the Workshop webpage. I don't think a lot of games have like a mod browser within the game, but we could. Sorry, got some burps. Playtime tracking. Okay, we can actually add playtime tracking to the mods that you're playing, like while you're playing them. It's kind of nice. That looks like it's not too hard. So let's add backend setup. I think like there's still more to do there. I'm just gonna move these up. I think we've got a few items here. Populate that in a second here, but deleting item. Okay. And there's example with Space War and the legal agreement. And we can use Steam command, which is a developer thing for testing purposes. Errors and logging. And yeah, separate application can publish the content. Okay, so, all right. So what we need to be able to do is create a workshop item from an ad hoc mod, right? So, Remote Error has a question. For cards that generate tokens, is the coding different for setback compared to other cards like Boar or Scion Progeny that just place tokens on the card? I don't know. I believe there's a bunch of stuff related to token pools. I'm not sure how much. I don't know if you should check the code documentation for that. I believe. I guess we can pop open the engine and take a quick look through that. I believe every hero character card has an unlucky pool by default because of the representative of Earth. Hero character card. Yeah. Controller. If we look for the unlucky pool identifier, basically every hero character card has a token pool generated automatically. And other than that, you can specify the token pools for the card in the definition. So if we look at, say, Boar, and this is definitely documented, the token pool definition. If you want a token pool on your card, you specify it with a token pool, and then you use this identifier that you made here in your code to like add or remove tokens. So, but in terms of like, is the coding different? It's for setback, it's an unlucky pool, the same as any other card. Or it's a token pool the same as any other card of the token pool. There's no difference in how it's used. The only difference at all is that every hero has one without having to specify it. So it used to be that setback just had it like that on his card, which he might still actually. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't because it's always added, basically. So because of Celestial Tribunal and Guys, every hero has this unlucky pool by default. But you can always make your own token pools as much as you want. So hope that helps. Okay, so back to Steam Workshop. So we need to be able to create a new workshop item, and when you create a workshop item, like, you are the owner of that. I don't know if you can have like friends who are also allowed to own the UGC. I've never actually made a mod and published it on Steam, right? So I do not know about that. I guess we'll find out. But at minimum, there's going to be like the one owner of the mod will be the one who owns it, right? So they need to create it in the first place. And then we have like upload/edit, upload, edit workshop items that you own. we need to, let's go back to the implementation guide. Licky says, I don't think token creatures would be a thing. I don't know what you mean. Licky. Hey, Iron Moose. Thanks. You enjoyed my visit to Luck of the Seamus. Any chance of you appearing on stream to play more multiplayer mods? That certainly could happen. Could also happen on Handelabra Live. You never know. Yeah, it was a fun time. We'll maybe we'll get Lou Dolphin onto the mods. Who knows? Non-card targets. No, like Licky, a target must be a card in Sentinels. That is how the game works. A target is a card with hit points. There is no such thing as a non-card target, and that would not make sense in the game. Just like having like purple hit points wouldn't make sense either. Hit points are a number. Okay. So, we need to, right. So the things we need to be able to set. So item data to edit is title. And I mean, these might just come from manifest. Like, it might not be that we need like a UI in the game to be able to change these things. Like, we say like put them in your manifest and we'll upload it based on that. Description, visibility. I guess you can have it be private. Yeah, everyone, friends only, or the creator. Whoops. Visibility. Everyone, friends, private. So friends would be like, obviously private is like, yeah, so yeah, go to Facebook. That's what I want. Private would be like when you're working on it originally, and then friends maybe for testing, and then everyone once you're ready to ship it, basically. Okay. Tags. I think tags are a special thing. Tags are like deck builder or whatever, right? Arbitrary developer specified tags. Are they actually shown anywhere? Whoops, I keep clicking on bookmarks. Tags? Question mark? There was another thing I missed here about, it's not in the it's not in the flowchart, but update language. Right, so you can say multiple languages. Maybe like, I mean, we'll want to support that, but maybe that's not a 1.0 thing. But it's a good thing to look at. Tags may mark them as environment, villain, hero decks. Yeah. I think the tags are just like arbitrary things that we would use, but I don't know how that's different than metadata. Like, I guess because maybe the tags you need to download it, but the metadata you don't. Metadata can be returned from queries without having to download and install the actual content, but maybe tags aren't that way. I don't know that these are like visibly shown to the user. So metadata is definitely going to be like manifest stuff. right? Like, can definitely put stuff in there that we could then like interpret by the game. Item key value tag. So this is again like another arbitrary thing. Key value tags. Like there's so many, like these three things are like all the same thing. So why are there three of them? This is like a list of strings. Key value pairs, right? Which is just string to string. Keys can map to multiple different values. Okay. One too many. And metadata is also just a string. Of 5,000. It's kind of like, why are there so many? These are all like the same thing. They must have started with one and then were like, no, it's gonna be better if we do this, and then set excluded tag, right, for queries. So there's queries that operate on these things too, but they operate on tags, on key value tags, and on metadata. I'm a little unclear as to why there's those three things. I don't think any of them are user visible. I don't know if anyone knows different. Can look at some mods. Guess maybe we can just like look at a mod. Show me your mods. Like, I guess there's tags here, but are those tags? Where do those tags come from? Are they from that API or are they something else? Digimon. So it says languages, but not tags. There's also this. These are also tags, but they didn't show. How do you get, oh yeah, tagged with the selected terms. So those tags must be, that must be what tags are, right? Steam Workshop tags. Item tags. Okay, so these are user visible. Whereas we can override the list. We can add admin tags. Right, it's optional to make them show up. And we can control that. Okay, so I'm just gonna toss a note in here. Hi. User visible. Part of Steam Website discovery. Okay, so those are important to have. I think metadata and key value tags are probably internally used then. Key value tags. Wow. Okay, it's like this is some other game's mods. Just seeing how they're using it. Tags key. Wow, like they made their own text file format instead of using JSON or XML. I guess there's also XML. Okay. Then item metadata. Yeah, I think that's just like if there's some arbitrary information that doesn't fit, like you don't want it to be user visible, it doesn't fit into like a one-to-many situation, put it into that. So maybe we'll use that for something, maybe not. And there's multiple languages for title plus description that we could support. Okay. The item content, obviously. Content files. Which just is like, here's the folder, and it's going to be all of the files. And item preview is an image. Preview image. And one thing I wanted to see is like, is there a suggested format for that? Oh yeah, I'm just looking on the back end here as well. That preview thumbnail image aspect ratio, default aspect ratio square or 4:3 or 16:9. So I think square seems to be like pretty standard. I mean, this is just Slay the Spire. But then I guess there's also screenshots. Is that, can you have more than one image? The primary preview image. Add item preview file, additional preview files. It can be also a video. Sketchfab. Update item preview video. Okay, so you can actually have videos, additional preview images and videos. YouTube links, actually, not video files. Preview image is like the main square one. So yeah, like in terms of like priority here, content is obviously pretty important. The preview image. And then these are maybe if we need them, like these are more of like internal to the game. They're something that like we don't user editing stuff. Okay, so that's the uploading part, I think. Enough other workshop pages use like different preview sizes. Like what's, I mean, like Oblivion Steam Workshop. Oblivion. I'm sure it'll get me there. Oh, there's no Steam Workshop for Elder Scrolls. Interesting. They just don't do that. Popular Steam Workshop. You just like search every game. Rust's Steam Workshop. How do I get to their workshop from here? Visit the workshop. Okay. Browse. Okay, so they use squares. I'm just gonna like look at the most popular ones. We don't have to decide today or anything, but I'm just curious. Counter-Strike, the most popular workshop game. RimWorld, also very popular, yeah. Counter-Strike uses a... That's interesting. It uses like the 16:9, but then it still takes up as much space as a square. It's an interesting choice for the web page. RimWorld is probably on the first page here. Yeah. There's like a link to go right to the workshop. That would be nice. They use 16:9 as well, but then sometimes they're square. I don't know. I feel like square. Try not to think about the strange use of space on Steam's website. Yeah. They're, you know, look at this page. Like, yeah, my screen is definitely 1024 by 768. Thanks for having such a useful web page format. I get that they have a lot of users in a lot of situations, but they are very arbitrary and very, 2005 web design still. American Truck Simulator. Okay, last one to look at their workshop. They are also into the 16:9. So I don't know. Well, that maybe will be a thing. We can see what people think. I don't know if that really matters, but it is a thing. So I'm just going to write square. We can choose between square, 4:3, or 16:9. Square and 16:9 seem popular. Popular. Yeah, we can choose which is the preview, the default aspect ratio, but we can override it, and I assume that mods can upload whatever they want because we saw one where it was mix and matched, right? So, oh yeah, so I'm gonna add, before I forget, the playtime tracking, because that seems neat. All right, so that was basically what you need to be able to edit. We need to support that. I guess we can, where did my page go? Blah, blah, blah. Basically, all of this can just come from the manifest, maybe except the visibility. I mean, even the visibility, but like we can, the less that we have to make like controls for, I think, in the UI, the better, just in terms of time, or at least right now. Maybe we can add them later and you can control everything from the manifest, and then we can go from there with more UI. So it's just like basically upload button, upload any changes from the manifest. Okay. Call submit item update. Right. So there's show upload progress status / result. Which we get from the API. Right, so item subscription. So subscribe to an item from new game screen when joining room. We need to handle downloading items in the background. Maybe unsubscribe from items in mod screen. It's kind of just a nice thing, just so you don't have to go to the web page to unsubscribe. Right, and there's basically load mods from Steam Workshop, or from Workshop item list. Jake says, reload the check of which mods / decks are available. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, external subscription actions. That's handling things in the background. I guess there's, yeah, it's kind of like handle subscribing and downloading items in the background. Probably also unsubscribing. Like if you unsubscribe while you're playing a mod and it crashes, that's your own fault. Yeah, we'll probably try not to have it crash, but don't do that. I think it's set up so it won't like lose the mod or anything like that at that point. It says it will remove them after the game closes. Jake says, I have Cauldron, you don't. You download from the lobby, want those decks to appear then. I mean, yeah, that's part of that. Part of that feature would be you download them at that time and they appear and you can play the game, right? Okay. Get the status, sure. Download progress. Initiate or increase the priority. I don't think we need to worry about necessarily that. Or maybe we do, I don't know. Right, then querying content I think is like a future thing where you could like find mods in the game. I don't think we need to worry about that right now. So yeah, so that's why maybe the metadata is not like even a... I guess the metadata is nice because the metadata, this query is actually going to be used for this. Query and subscribe to an item. / download an item. Because like all you'll get from the multiplayer is like, this is the ID. You need this ID. And so we need to actually call this query with the ID, get the information, and whatnot. Probably, unless we can just literally just subscribe with the ID, like. But it'd be nice to be able to show like the name of the mod or whatever else information to you potentially. Then the playtime tracking and deleting items. I don't think we need to delete items. You can always make them... This might be a developer thing, is deleting item. You can make it visible only to yourself. and that's the way they suggest to, if you want to make your mod no longer available, you can do that. That's more of a developer function for like deleting testing stuff. And right, the legal agreement display. So I'm just going to make a note here. Workshop legal agreement stuff, which is right, hidden by default. If you submit an item, you need to agree to the workshop terms of service. It needs to open a browser to that. Right. Oh, right. So once you make your workshop item, you get like a web UI that you can edit a lot of the metadata yourself, maybe? I'm not sure. So we'll have to see what happens there. So it says they can see the item configured for the necessary, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Web API, sure. Game servers don't have that. That cares about this at all. And cool. All right. So that's just kind of looking at an overview of like what's going to be necessary for this, which we didn't really dive into until just now. So this isn't, I'm just going to archive this because it's not going to be a separate tool. It's going to be in the mod screen. We're going to have this functionality to create an item and upload and edit the items. Cool. So maybe we'll start looking at the integration in a second. I'm just going to take a quick break and we'll come back and look at some of that integration. BRB. Back in a couple minutes. I have returned. It's no longer chair stream. I mean, the chair's still always the star. The chair's here more than I am, right? Overall. That's how it is. Okay. So I just want to quickly check my Slack and see what's going on over there. Yeah, nothing. I can't. Well, let me just check something. All right. We are going to look at some code now, maybe. Actually, what I want to do before that is just look at the developer forums for Workshop and see if anyone's talking about stuff there that's interesting. Yeah, that's the documentation. Have frequently asked questions been answered below? I disagree. Seems blank. Asking about screenshots. Workshop dependencies. There's no, I didn't see anything about that in the documentation. Is get item update progress ever useful? It mostly returns 0. It's interesting. It's possible to vote on things from in-game. There's an API set user item vote. Just curious if anyone's talking about like the metadata or anything like that. Like, why would you use that versus key value pair or whatever? Maybe the search doesn't work. Maybe it just doesn't do anything. Okay. So what we use for Steamworks integration is steamworks.net. And hopefully that has Workshop API in it. It's using far too many features to list. Because we use it for like all the leaderboards and achievements and stuff. Not that they're Sentinels doesn't have leaderboards. I think One Deck Dungeon has leaderboards. Bottom of the Ninth has leaderboards. Steam Cloud uses for that, and other various things. Noisy outside. Okay, let's just look at and see if those parts of the API are there. Because if not, we're going to need to like get something else to hook into it. So I guess I'm already here, aren't I? I just want to go to it's the iSteam UGC primarily. Right, the like create item. Yeah, create item, so on. So I guess we can just look for UGC. Hey, look, iSteam UGC. So looks like a lot of that is there. It's automatically generated. Like I think they create stubs from everything. So that is cool. So it's been a while since I looked at the Steam stuff. We have a Steam. Oh, this is the wrong project, isn't it? Do I have... I have the MyMod open, which I don't really need now. Let's open the Sentinel solution. We have a solution. So we use this Steam... Steamworks.net is basically a wrapper around the C-based Steam API so that it can be called from Unity's .net environment or Mono or whatever. It's C#.net-ish. And we have Steam Manager is a part of that, but the main thing is the Steamworks namespace has all that stuff. We can't navigate to that, but we can go to plugins, steamworks.net. And yeah, so like iSteam UGC. We can call these things. So let's go like to the mod screen, list view controller, and just like play with some stuff here. So like using Steamworks. We have to change. We can't just be doing this because of mobile, but we'll put it in for now. Steam UGC dot create item. Our Steam app ID and file type. Right, so that's how we create a new one. And it returns back an API call. So if we go to the callbacks, a good example of that would be the achievements, right? Steam Social is... So this is our like achievement handler thing. Social is like what Unity calls their social platform for Game Center or Google Play games and stuff. So if you have a callback, you have to keep a handle on it. So for example, when we're setting up, we call where's the things that use the callbacks? Yeah, it's been a while since I looked at this. Yeah, we have like these loads and stuff like that. So this call to create is going to... why don't we do like a query first? That seems like just like to get our feet wet with this. Even like get subscribed items should return like 0. Published file ID. Get number of subscribed items. So this needs to like be wrapped in like if Steamworks is on and stuff like that. And actually it's not gonna work when we run this because we don't have Steam enabled, but we can enable it. Working with Steam in Unity can be a little tricky, but it is doable. So I go in here, it's going to be like, Steam is not initialized. You did it wrong. So I need to set the project player. I need to tell it that we're using Steam with a scripting defined symbol, which is what gets put in when we build for Steam. recompile, and I think I need to have Steam running. And then it will be like, oh, you're playing Sentinels. And it might even have the overlay and stuff. I can't remember if that works in Unity or not. I don't think it does work in Unity. But we will get like, it will connect to Steam. Like it's connecting my achievements and stuff, which it wouldn't normally unless I had that set up. This is all the mod loading stuff. Yeah, well we are, and if I click this, it knows that it's doing Steam, so it's going to the achievements for this game. Well, it should have, didn't. Steam is like, hey, you're running Sentinels. So if we go to Workshop now, we should be able to call that method. Yeah, there are 0 items. So we got a value from that, even though it wasn't. So maybe we'll make just a test item with the create item call. Steam UGC create item. The consumer app ID is how do we get I know this is the app ID. We have to call this new app ID T. Steam manager.app. Can I not get that? I guess it's also like in game constants. Steam app ID. And file type art collection community concept. What one should I pick? Creating an item. Community. Okay. That's what we want. And this makes an API call T. And it's been a while. And how do we do that? Does this use these? Like this. Callback.create. I think this is setting up a callback for that type of thing. Just look at all the other places where maybe something is actually like this is returning back Steam API call _T. don't know if we... Do we use that anywhere else? Oh, there is like in request achievements and stuff like that. Right, so here's one where we create the callback for that type. So I think it's just like a general callback instead of one that's for user stats. Like user stats T is also a struct. I think it's just that it's like, oh, this isn't, yeah, this one isn't a Steam callback though. I don't know if we use this. Let me just look at the steamworks.net documentation. Steam callbacks, because call results are the main thing that I was using. Okay, if it returns Steam API call T, you must set up a call result. I'm pretty sure I've done this. It's nearly identical to callbacks. I feel like we've done this. Yeah. Call result for load global stats or for the leaderboards. Okay, so it is a thing we've done. So it's a call result instead. Create a call result and class scope as a member variable. Let's just follow the example here. Steam stuff. And this is going to be... Does Steam tell us what type it comes back with? Create item. Comes back with a create item result T. Right. Okay. So back, I just put this in front. Create item result. And what do I just follow what I was doing in our Steam social? Yeah, like create item call result. Okay. Right, so we just copy this. Let's make a little function. Create item. So if that's null, it's going to be a new call result of this type. We need to provide a handler. Like this. We could just call it handle create item. And it comes back with a create. This is such a, if you thought you've got boilerplate making cards for Sentinels, wait until you hook up to the Steam API. It's a boilerplate city. And I think this will say what are the different parameters that it takes. Right? I have to... I'm not sure exactly. We'll take a look. So instead of that, we're going to call this. We're going to do this. We're going to set the .set call. There's also a API dispatch delegate. I don't know what that is. Here we say we received it. We clear that so we can call it again later. Oh my goodness. Right, and then there's other callbacks that we could have prepared. That was for the Steam social thing. I think we can look at our results here. We get a result. We get the published file ID. Created item with ID. Like that's the information we really care about. And that's a struct that is a number, basically. And we can write needs to accept agreement. And this would be like whoever pressed the button needs to be told or whatever, right? Like, that's fine. Because it's all like asynchronous. Just call this method. Calling create item. I just don't know if this is the right signature here. Does that change for different things? Like in Steam social leaderboard. Yeah, we still have the IO failure. IO failure. Okay, so I think it's maybe consistent. We'll see. And what are the different things that can come up? We can get... Right, I guess so. If it's okay and no IO failure, we're successful. So... Yeah, Okay, so I think this will result in us creating a workshop item. That is blank. So let's try it. I don't know if I can see it on the back end or anything. All right. As soon as I go into here, it's going to do that. Successfully created item with ID. Need to accept agreement. False. Okay, so let's grab that ID and squirrel it away. Testing workshop ID. Cool. So I'm just going to pop over to my Steam land. I don't know if there's a place where I can like see the list of mods that exist. I mean, it's workshop homepage. You can configure a lot there. Tags, right? We can create our own tag list. Service providers. User content. Okay, I don't know that I can do that. I wonder if I can get to the your workshop page. This is my workshop page. Browse by tag version 2. What? I mean, I don't have any workshop files. Do I? Oh, there it is. That's the one, right? That's our ID. This is the thing we just made. It's blank. It's got a thumbs up. Cool. And we can like go and edit it like from the web here. Okay. So we don't necessarily need to be able to support editing all this stuff in the game. Like it'd be nice to like populate it up the first time you upload from your manifest or whatever, but like you can go and like edit it. You can add your images. You can add dependencies. Okay, that's cool. You can link to sites. You can make it inappropriate. You can set your tags. Cool. Okay, so that's good to know. And right, it's set as hidden, so you can change the visibility probably somewhere here too. Private developer comments. Okay. Contributors of the item. So can you add set friends who are allowed to contribute or something like that maybe? I don't know. Well, that's something. Hey, we made a mod. Ship it. All right, so I'm going to just make sure we don't start. I mean, we can make as many as we want, but there's no need to like call create item right here. Cool. Right, so I think this was just like whenever anyone, yeah, the first time we call it, we enqueue a callback so that we finally call back our own code. This is like our own code. This is not a Steam API thing. That's our own code to call back to what we want after the Steam call is done. All right, so step 1, create a new workshop ID. And really creating a new item is really like blank and empty. So basically, yeah, create a workshop item from ad hoc mod is sort of like multiple steps, right? I mean, like, we need to save the ID. We need to, like, basically call create item, save the ID in the manifest of the mod. Basically, automatically upload the mod the first time. Maybe open the web page for you so you can go and look at it on the workshop side. Probably like a refresh button or something. Interesting stuff. Yeah, so that's cool. This is my mod. So now actually I still have the thing where I'm calling get how many subscribed mods I have, right? In here, I commented a create item because I don't want it to be like creating an item every time I go in. But let's go now that we have something to actually query, we can see what it says. Workshop. Number of items 0. Do I have to click? Oh, I have to click subscribe because I haven't actually downloaded it. That's interesting. So if I click subscribe and then I launch, so I guess you don't necessarily have to be subscribed to your own mod. It can just live in your like ad hoc folder. Yeah, number of items 1. Cool. So that would be the 1. Then we can unsubscribe. And so there's going to be like callbacks we want to like connect to like especially on that screen when like you unsubscribe for a mod to like update the UI or subscribe to a mod to update the UI, or especially subscribing once it like downloads and everything, right? Cool. That's interesting stuff. So what's next? I guess like actually setting up a button for you to be like publish this. I think and have it pop up and explain like what's going to happen when you do that. So like I think indicating, yeah, we need to indicate, it's kind of like both of these indicate on mod screen whether a mod is from, like, is in ad hoc or subscribed from workshop, basically. And then maybe that's only like, only if it's an ad hoc, like basically that's the, because you need to know, like, if you could probably subscribe to your mod and have it locally, like, maybe that's not a good idea, but if you have a big list, you're going to want, like, the ones that you own to be, like, at the top, maybe indicate the ones that you own. We probably want to, like, store or, like, I don't know if we can query based on your user account the ones that you have created and, like, be like, yeah, this is yours. Okay, so we still have to like work to do on the screen, obviously, but like I think we could have a button. Basically, if this mod is in ad hoc, there can be a button that says publish on Steam, and maybe it like we're gonna want to have it like search for if that mod already exists. Like you don't want people like uploading a mod that's already exists, and you get a bunch of copies of it and stuff like that. So I can add a note in there, basically like query mods before creating to avoid duplicates. Maybe that's where we check key value pair for namespace. We can have like a key value pair metadata thing, key value tag. I want to know if that key value tag is like somehow user visible. I wonder if, where's my thing here? If I go update tags, update. Oh. Maybe I can't edit the tags. My mod. Your changes have been saved. Edit images. Attach a sketchfab model. Attach other things. I need an image. Where's my little hello cowie? I don't know where that went. Is it on my iCloud drive under photos? No. Documents? No. There it is. It's somewhere. There's my mod. It's not my graphic either. I just use it for my avatar. Required items. I didn't notice that in the API documentation, but maybe they just didn't mention it. Required key value tag. Add app dependency. It is a soft dependency displayed on the web. It's up to the application to determine. Okay. This is for queries, right? Required tag, required key value tag, and required tag group. Excluded tags and so on. Match any tag. Yeah, so we can say like namespace. We have to like, you can only create it if it has a unique namespace. That's going to be nice. Dependency. Add a dependency between the item and the app ID. Add a workshop item as a dependency. So this is something you can just set up on the web. So I don't think we need to like be able to. We could like have it like automatically download dependencies. I don't know that we're gonna have that right now, but like potentially at some point. Like the kind of dependencies we have so far are very soft, right? Like there's a variant of the cauldron in my mod. Like if you don't have the cauldron, like it doesn't matter. But if my mod is like literally only cauldron mods, then maybe you want that to be stronger, right? And it'll still like, it won't like, it's not like there are real dependencies like this mod depends on code or assets from another mod and will crash the game if it loads in the wrong order or whatever, right? So that's different than just like, well, maybe you don't see any content because there's no content that works. Anyways, so just some ideas there. I don't think we need to worry about it in here right now. Cool. So, yeah, I think we're gonna have to figure out like what are our key value tags gonna be, and so on. But a lot of this is gonna come straight from the manifest. I did notice that when we do that, the upload like takes a folder. I don't know if it can exclude, like I don't want it to upload the manifest JSON. I think I rather like, well, I mean, that's fine. I guess that's fine if it could upload the manifest JSON. It doesn't need to if all the information in that is kept on Steam, but maybe it isn't because like the nice thing about keeping it on Steam is that you can like edit the description and stuff on Steam without having to do it from in the game. You can do it from any browser. Excuse me. And like you run into synchronization issues, right? Like I feel like that initial description is literally just the first time. I don't want it to be like just basically your manifest doesn't need to have a description anymore. It's something, or even at all, it's something that is just kept on Steamworks. I guess it's fine. There are going to be people who won't want to use Steam Workshop for some reason, and so having the manifest still work is fine. Set item content takes a folder, but I don't think you can like say exclude certain files, which I would like to, like if we wanted to exclude the manifest. I guess what we could always do is like override whatever's in the manifest with whatever data Steam has. That's probably fine. We can just do that. Okay. Yeah, I think this is interesting, and I think just trying to think of how far I want to go today with this, because I think we can go sort of roll along with this. It's mostly just like getting all these Steam calls working and adding some buttons on the screen and stuff. So maybe we just do that for, another hour or whatever, and see how far we get. So let's go to the screen and start making some interface for it. And it's probably going to be more of like rough interface initially. So in the detail panel, basically, I'm going to want like some sort of like upload button. Maybe we'll just put it here for now. Still like in the mode of this is just functional. Create button. I guess it's like basically upload. Upload to Steam Workshop. I guess one thing, we want to find out, like, do you own this? Like, if it's got an app ID, it should, I guess it will, like, fail, but, like, we don't want it to do that, right? Like, okay, so this can just go to one function. Upload to workshop. So basically, if the mod does not have a item ID, create the item. Save the item ID in the manifest. Otherwise, I guess sort of very first thing, query Steam to see if the mod already exists on Steam. I guess that kind of goes here, right? If not, create the item. Okay. Query Steam to see if. I guess before even like the upload button should only be shown. Right? If like we don't even show the upload button. If the mod does not have an item ID and Steam does not have the mod namespace already. I guess a mod with that namespace already. Or the mod has an item ID and you own it. Like you are the author. So to get in here, those things need to be true. So we don't need to do this query. Otherwise, upload everything to the mod's item ID. And that can be like a separate function. Like this is sort of like the first thing it checks is like, should we create? This can be like called like upload, create, creator upload or upload, creator edit item. That seems fine. And this actually needs to be in a mod view, not in the mod list view controller, isn't it? Because it's per mod. Maybe. I guess maybe it's on sort of on the main screen because if you like switch, I guess if you click that button, it can like bring up something modal that's like you can't toggle away. Don't allow interacting with the UI while doing things here. Blocking thing with thing with progress status. Yeah, so I think that's the logic we're looking at there. That's cool. So I think we want to add a button, upload button. And this is going to be using Steamworks and probably where most of the stuff is going to be. Yeah, it's kind of like, I guess we're going to need to call back to the main view controller. I don't know if this, it doesn't feel great for this to be part of the mod view. Maybe we make a new thing that is in charge of all this. Like mod uploader, just to contain all the Steam stuff into mostly one place. I think that's probably a good idea. I mean, we can still, the interface will be shown here, but like we can keep all the logic that has to do with everything. It'll be like a new component on here that like pops up, and you just say which mod, and then it will like get all the information. Let's do it that way. Let's make a script called mod uploader. And it can be a bit of UI and a bit of other stuff. That's fine. I guess that might want to go into the mod, into the screens. Mod list screen. And we can make a if we make a new panel on top, which is upload panel, and we make it full size, we make it blocking, something like that. Then like add some UI on that basically. So because I don't want people to be like messing around with the interface while things are processing. And we can add like, you know, confirmation and stuff onto a UI like this. Upload to Steam Workshop. Oh no. Okay. So actually then this, let's go and open that script. And do this. Okay, so yeah, what that button can actually call, we can still have this button be on this, but the main function, yeah, let me put this function on here, and it will have some parameter here, and we'll call back to the main thing, which can then like, because I think mod view has a mod, yeah, which we can send back. So upload to Steam, just the button click handler. And we want to add mod uploader. And we can add something like remember which mod, and then this can pass in the mod manifest. Yeah. Let's make sure we get in to the right place. Okay, so that's not doing anything yet. That's fine. We don't have any logic about showing the upload button yet. That's okay. And this is going to basically be like in the other thing. So I'm going to move that into here. These can be like private, yeah. And we need to go using Steamworks here. Just like we don't need all that stuff on this screen. Keep this focused on what it does and have another script focused on what it does. Cool. So we're not actually calling that yet, but we're just going to see that we get to this debug log. So we need to hook some stuff up. We need to hook up this uploader, and we need to hook up the button to go to the right method. Actually, we want to go back to this and call upload to Steam on that. Okay, so it's not actually going to do any uploading to Steam or anything, but and let's hide that. But it should at least log the thing that we want. Yeah, Steamworks is not initialized. That's okay. So if I click this, yeah. So that's just the folder name right now, which isn't gonna matter really. Cool. Whew, okay. Excuse me. A little tired. So I think what we can do is maybe add a little logic. Let's add this logic because I also want this logic to like, I want to do a build with the icons so mod authors can start getting their icons in, and I don't want it to like be uploading stuff to the workshop yet. I don't know if that will actually work because of how the permissions are set, but so let's go. I think in mod view is where we control that. So if this .upload button is not null, we're going to do this. So we need obviously our mod manifest to know about an item ID is the right thing, right? Like that is what they call it. Create item. Result is the new item's unique ID. It's called published file ID. What do they call it in here? They ever call it an item ID? Because I want they do that here. File ID. File ID. I mean, we can just call it published file ID. That seems okay. That's literally what Steam calls it, so that's going to make it easier. And that is a unsigned integer, I believe. You can actually go to where's our create item thing? Let's get our file back over here. Published file ID T, which is they have like structs for all of their things. It's a ulong, unsigned long. but we can just store it as a number and not a crazy struct. So mod manifest will have probably up in here where like things are important. First property, ulong, published file ID. The Steam ID for the workshop item when published. And I guess it's null if this has not been published to our knowledge. All right, and right, identifier was a string. Because we use that in here. Yeah, I was thinking what we could do is have that like contain information about like whether it's a Steam ID or whether it's a namespace, but I'm not sure. I guess we could do like some prefixing and stuff like that. Like if it has an app ID, it's like Steam : file ID or something. And then we parse that out. So if JSON obj contains key published file ID, get number, and that is like ulong. Okay, it's a double from this, but that should be okay. Okay, so if that's in there, it will do that. And yeah, basically what we want to do is, if that's in there, it's basically like we want to be able to write it out, number one, and we also want to be able to look and see. So here now we can check to see if the mod has an ID or the blah blah blah. Okay, so not here actually. This is I'm just going to get rid of that because it's actually controlled by the mod view now, whether the button is there. Okay, so if mod.published file ID has value, so we'll just say show upload false. Only show the button if you are the author. I don't know if we can check this, but I want to be able to. Otherwise, we can at least like store some local value to like, yeah, you're the one. I don't know. We'll see. Check the API. So the mod is published. Only show the button if you are the author on Steam. The mod is not published. Check to see if Steam has a mod with that namespace already. Maybe this is like a to-do right now. We just like, yeah, If it's if it's not published, go ahead, go right ahead. And this can be also a to-do, but I want to check the API because I'm curious. Get item install info, get item state. It's just a number. E-item state flags. Subscribed. Legacy. I want to find out, like, are you the creator? That would be cool. App ID of the Apra's creator. Right, that's because you have consumer apps and creator apps. App ID of the app that created this item. This is the details, okay. Steam ID of the user who created the content. Owner. But I thought something about collaborators, but I guess owner. So how do we get query UGC result? We must we have to do a query and then we have to, then look at the results. So basically to do this, and it's basically involves this. We can just pseudocode it out here basically. Finally, this is the last thing we do. And look at this. Compare to logged in user. Unless there's like a query that's just like show me get item, download info, get item, get query. Yeah, I think we do have to do the query. Create query. User UGC. Use the list the UGCs are subscribed to amongst other things. Can I find the kind that they've created? Content they've created. Voted on, voted up, voted down, voted, subscribed. Type of list. Oh, list of files the user has published. I wonder if like querying this is better, or querying. I mean, we can just query the specific one, right? Yeah, this create query details request. You give it the list of items you want, which is just going to be the one. We might already have that from when we load or something like that. Like, so with the file ID, and then Right, then we have to call this. Send with that. Then finally we get, so you have to call the create request, then you have to send the request, then you get a call result with the query completed, and then you can call the other method to like get the information. Yeah, that's the Steam API. It's a lot of fun. I think someone has made a more like sane version for .NET, but the one we use is hews pretty closely to how it works. So it's something. I guess one thing I'm wondering is, do we need to do this query now, or can we would we get that information when we launch by like one of the other things that is getting like called by Steam when we launch or something, right? Maybe not. I mean, we're going to have to do something like this anyways, so it's not like the end of the world. And then this is basically going to be, if we're going to pseudocode these, create query all is like we can query by matching with we get a query handle, then we can like add things to it, like add required tag or set add required key value tag is probably what we're going to use. And then and see if it has any results. If so, no go. Basically. So that we don't get people. That's actually a nice way to avoid having namespace conflicts if we just basically make it so that whenever a mod is uploaded, its namespace is registered with Steam with that metadata. So that's nice. Then, because I was thinking we're gonna have to have like some database or spreadsheet out there that like people have to register their mods with. But since we're going through Steam Workshop, you don't need to do that. We can do that and handle that and avoid those clashes. So that's cool. So for now, show upload is false. Well, yeah, I guess it's, yeah. Let's see if we've got, did we hook that up? We probably didn't hook that up, did we? Yeah, upload button. Yeah, I'm trying to think if, like, how we populate the screen right now is based on the files on disk. But we're also going to be populating it based on what you've subscribed in Steam Workshop, right? So when we call subscribed items, I guess you wouldn't be subscribed to the one that you... You wouldn't be subscribed to the one that you published necessarily. I mean, you might be. You would show both on the screen. That's going to be annoying. We have to figure that out. But basically, like, if you're subscribed to a mod, you're not going to be the one editing it, right? You're going to have it locally in your mods folder where you're, like, updating it from. So I think we only need to worry about this if it's coming from the mods folder. So we'll have to add something from the manifest to like indicate that, I guess. Right, so we could actually make a property here that's like, this is being like created by loading the mods on disk. So we could add like a property here, which is like, whether it's from ad hoc, right? Or it's from workshop. Or we can say like from subscription or from workshop. I think from workshop is okay. Public bool is from workshop. And then whatever creates this, I mean, here it's just false, but when we're loading it from the Steam, because when we launch with Steam, we can be like, hey, what are all the mods? I mean, that's one thing. We need to, chicken and egg, right? We need to actually get mods up onto Steam before we can actually subscribe, and we gotta do the upload first because we don't have anything there. Right, so in the mod view, we can check if we're only going to show upload if mod dot is from workshop is false, right? Like if it's from the workshop, we're not showing that like period. That's kind of the situation, right? Like you're not going to download a mod and then re-upload it. Like that's not going to be a thing. So, and if you are the author and somehow you lost your files, like you can still subscribe to it and download it and put it in the mods folder manually, right? So that still can be done. But I just want to simplify it here. So, yeah, so we do need to do this query because this mod is not from the workshop, definitely. And so we have to check to see, are you the author? I mean, yeah, we could just store it locally, but that doesn't really work if you have multiple computers or anything like that. And we need to do these things anyway, so we're going to do these things. So maybe I will just check this here and make sure it doesn't have a null reference or something like that on me. I guess it's going to be like, you're not on Steam because you didn't go to the splash screen. It's okay. Yeah, so there's our upload button. It doesn't do anything yet. All right, I'm going to commit this stuff because we've done a bunch. Partial work. Just to get started here. Yeah, so basically, in this project settings is just the define, which I don't want to be committed. Initial prep for uploading, creating/uploading mods to Steam Workshop. We're doing it. I mean, we did create a mod. Look at this amazing mod. My mod. It doesn't have anything yet, but, you know. Okay, so, yeah, let's look at putting that query in, and maybe that's going to be like, probably it for today is like determining if we can show the button or not. I mean, I can always just not click it, but we do need to, I mean, maybe we don't need to do that today. It's not very exciting, but not all the work is exciting, right? That's, That's just how it is. So let's close all these extra things. Maybe we do. We do that. So we don't actually get to show the button right now. We have to actually do this thing with callbacks and everything. So yeah. So we're going to be adding... Well, we have using Steamworks there. Okay. So create our Steam UGC create query UGC details request. New published field ID t mod.published field.value. And there's one. What? Oh, I see. It wants an array of them. That's annoying. Just like, I just want to make one. There, look. Wow, okay. We get a UGC query handle. Do these use... I think that we can just use that initially. It's not a callback, I think. I don't know why it's like, this must be a valid app ID, but like, do we have to set that on the handle? You must release it by calling release when you're done with it. Okay, I guess we can check to see if handle is not whatever the invalid one is. I don't know how we find that. Is it just like a number? To do error handling. Do we need to like change anything about that request? It says it's like note, but those aren't parameters on this. Which is why I'm confused. Is that because this, I think it's just a copy and paste error in their documentation. Like that's not a property. So I think we just call send with that to get back the thing. Send query UGC request. We pass the handle. And that returns back a Steam API call T. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. This is going to be our Steam stuff. So our call result of a what is the kind of thing that it returns? Steam UGC query completed. Steam UGC query completed T. And that is basically the query result. But we have to like check. Let's just do this. If you're clicking quickly through different things, this might be tricky, but I'm just gonna do it right now. I guess this is a call result. Oh, right, we need to go var call equals this, and then whatever set call, and we need to like create it. I guess I could make it. Oh, it must be assigned to a member variable. Okay, so it can't be a anonymous method. That's why I probably would make anonymous methods for these, but we'll call it like handle query result. And probably we need these to be like separate methods, actually. Yeah, Steam stuff. Handle query result, which has a Steam UGC query completed callback. All right. And this just needs to go in here. Initially, don't show the button until the callback returns. Okay. So I think we're gonna be having multiple queries, so we're gonna need to like, this is like the author check. Handle author check query result. And this is, I mean, I think it's fine to have just one. Maybe it's not. Author check query. It's just separate them. Got to keep them separated. And I'll just note here, calling for author check. Lots of logs. Okay, so if it gets here, is it us? Are we the author? If we are the author, show the button. How do we get the information? P callback dot owner, right? Is that result? Oh, right. It's like we have to navigate through this data structure now. Right. I think we said you have to call get query UGC result. We have to... Does this include the handle? Okay, good. Because otherwise we're like, oh, it's another thing we need to store. 0 out details. P details, whatever that thing was. Did you see details? Then I guess if. I guess we need to check to see if p callback dot total matching results greater than 0. Author, I guess we can go say no results returned. I like to throw a lot of logs in this Steam stuff because it gets random problems. Returned false. Like, query result. If it returns false, okay, sure. Call in a loop to get all the details. Okay. Finally, details.owner. Owner ID. That's all we care about. And Steam friends dot persona or something. There's a place where we find our thing, and it's in multiplayer manager, Steam. Steam. Social local user.id. But Steam social, okay. Steam local user, we'll just get it directly. Unless it's awkward. Steam user, get Steam ID, get account ID, M account ID. Yeah, exactly. This. And that's just a number. So let's go. Our owner ID is that. Or my, okay, fine. I know it doesn't like me to be typing things like this. My ID is that. These are both, one's a uint and one's a ulong because why? Are they the same numbers? Are they different numbers? Oh, are they different numbers? See Steam ID. Owner is the Steam ID uint64. I mean, they might be the same. I guess there's also an M. There's an account ID and the Steam ID. hopefully they're the same. If owner ID, I guess we can, like here, we can go this dot upload button owner ID equals my ID. That after all that, that's the output. I think that should all work. Let's try it. Actually, it's not going to get in there because we don't have this set in the place. We need to go to splash screens so Steam gets it up. So we need to go and actually go into that manifest. Here. Yeah. And put in the right thing, which we need to do that like when we do the create, but we didn't do that. So we need to just type it in. Okay. How about here? It's a number. It's the thrilling API stuff that you were looking for, Licky00. I mean, it's fun, but it's a lot. Okay. So, if I click on, say, Cauldron, it's not going to do anything. Well, it's showing the button because it's getting into the other case. If I click on my mod, we called that for the author check. We got the result, and the owner ID and my ID are the same. So yeah, that's different than the account ID, which is a different number. So it's using that super big number. That's probably secret, and I shouldn't show it on the screen, but I don't know that it super matters. Cool. So it didn't show the button, and then it did show it. It sort of flickered there. I don't know if you noticed. And we could like remember that. So I guess like we always never show, we never show the upload button initially, and we show it like later. So we can see that it'll be off for other mods and on for our mod. That's the goal. But I mean, obviously, if you click around really quickly, it could screw up. So we're gonna try to make sure that doesn't happen. But I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So click Cauldron, no button. Click mine, get button. Back to Cauldron, no button. This one, no button. This one, yes button. Nice. All right. So yeah, really, actually, we never show the button. I guess maybe we'll have some cached stuff, right? So that seems fine. We might have cached information so we don't have to do that. Okay, so that is that. And then we need to check to see this, but right now we're not publishing that information on Steam yet, so that's not going to do anything. But I think that first step is pretty good. So let's commit that, because I'm pretty happy with the result of that, I think. So basically, show upload button if mod is published and you are the owner. That's cool. So right now, even if like I send this out, that button's never going to show up because it's going to, even if you went and put in this ID, if you're not logged into the right account, it's not going to show you that button. So, aha! You have to steal my password. Please don't steal my password. All right. So how are we doing on our checklist? Probably got we're sort of partially getting into here. Um, but yeah, so we are officially broken ground on Steam Workshop integration. But I think that's probably going to be it for today. A little bit shorter stream, but it's you know around quitting time for me. I've got some other stuff to do with Spirit Island for that, so going to get to that. But yeah, we'll be continuing rolling on Steam Workshop integration. I think we can definitely next week be getting I think through the whole like upload process probably, and that will be cool. So because basically, well, we'll at least be able to create a new mod and upload the information, and in a basic way at least. But I think I want to make a build with the icon changes and these bug fixes, and yeah, get those into the docs. So I will probably do that this weekend to get that up, because I know anytime I can make something like that, I can make more work for you, but it's work that you want to do. So hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the decision string change. I haven't seen any negative response from that, so hopefully that's good. And yeah, we'll continue carrying on. And yeah, it definitely looks like Steam is well set up to have like a pre-release period, where like I can say the Steam users get to access Workshop. Like I can specify a user group ID, so we can make like a group for Sentinels mod creators or something like that, where you can, and beta testers or whatever, like sort of a group that covers that. So maybe I'll add a checklist here for that. There's a bunch of stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff on here, but like page setup, but also like Steam user group for testers / creators. Yeah. So yeah, once we get to a point where the uploading stuff is working and the subscription stuff is working, we can start making that available, so you can start getting your stuff onto the workshop and getting your pages set up. So that's cool. And then we'll hopefully someday get it launched. Awesome. So that's going to do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time. Let's see if there's anyone actually to raid who's doing development. Maybe. Or we could just raid over to Pirate Savvy, but let's see if there's any like game dev. Game dev tycoon. Yeah, maybe not. I need to like follow some people who do dev streams and we can raid each other. That might be a good idea. Anyways, we'll figure that out later. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend.